finally, at long last. Miriam, my darling, what it took to
Hi.
get on a hangout, but never mind, we are here.
Yes, finally we made it. It took a while, but yes, I'm here. Hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, as you know, James is staying with me for a little bit at the moment.
Greetings, Miriam.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine too, thanks. Nice, cool, nice to meet you all.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you quite like James's channel, don't you, Miriam?
Yes, I've been watching, listening to you, James, already since you started. When, yeah, about 2 years ago, I guess. Yeah. It's nice, you know. It's just like a reminder of things. And getting, yeah.
And what happens through Sunday, Family United? You speak to one person that watches you, James, and now we're having a hangout with her.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Great. Okay, I haven't really prepared much. I just we spoke a few days ago.
So people know who you are.
Oh,
what do you do? What do you like doing?
Yes, hi, I'm Miriam. I've got a website and that is called StarConnections on astrology. I do medieval astrology, Hellenistic astrology, say traditional astrology. I started studying astrology in '75, somewhere about there, and in 2000 I went over onto the traditional, and that's quite a big difference. And yeah, you leave all the modern stuff out and you dive into the depth. So it's quite interesting. I've got also a YouTube channel, and doing my best to get now and then some
where'd you come from?
Little things.
Where'd you come from?
I'm from Amsterdam, from Holland, and yeah, I've traveled a lot, and I've lived also in India for several years, and I've lived in South Africa for several years, and now I'm back. I left Europe actually before it was formed, the EU, before the euro came out and all that. You know, I thought, no, it's not my thing, this new world order. But now the whole world is under the same spell.
Gone mad. The whole world's gone mad.
Totally, absolutely gone mad. So there's nowhere. It's very hard to find places where there is no Wi-Fi. Let's put it like that. You know, where you are just really out in nature without any disturbance. But yeah, I'm back in already now.
What do you want to show us today? Because you're going to share your screen, aren't you? So what are you going to talk about today?
Yeah, let me first show you. Let me do some screen sharing, like this. Here. Screen share. Let me show you my background of my PC, because that is what I make every month now. That is an void of course moon calendar. I only do it in the mid-European time, that is Greenwich Mean Time plus 1 hour, but I can do it also in other times. This is really handy. You can find it on my website, and it shows you where the moon is. So today we are, it's the 12th, Friday the 12th of February, and the moon has moved today, this morning at 8:24, or Greenwich Mean Time 7:24, into Pisces, into a water sign, that's blue. And then the red is a fire sign, yellow is air, green is earth. So in that way you know what the moon is doing. And these grayish spots, there are the void of courses, and that is very handy for all sorts of things. You don't buy things under a void of course. because it's not a good time to start something new. You don't, if you have to meet someone new, better don't do it under the void of course, all that sort of things. And I've got on my website, let me see, here on the website, you can see this. Are you there?
Sorry, I forgot I muted for a moment.
Okay, okay, but you can
Yes,
see this,
yeah,
huh?
we would go, yep, we can. No, carry on.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, here these are the calendars, and then you can just get the free PDF. You can download it. That's handy. And if you want to know more about it, you go to other links. And then here, Moon Education. That is another website I made with all information on the void of course. So this little article that I did myself, and these are other articles that I found on the internet about the void of course. So this is more all information, so you can look up on that whenever.
Very quickly, what is that then?
Void of course, it is when the moon, let me just get to my here. So as you know, the moon goes in 1 month through all the zodiac signs. Yeah. Now, when the moon makes a last aspect with one of the planets, and I calculated only with the classical 7 planets or the classical 5, then the sun and the moon are the luminaries. And so you will find most software and ephemeruses when the moon makes an aspect, last aspect with Pluto or Uranus or Neptune. Then the real void of course might have been actually hours earlier. So I do all the calculations with only the classical. It is an old system that dates back from the Babylonian time as well. So it's so old that I rather keep it in its traditional form. And I also have noticed that when I thought that it was not a void of course, that was years ago when I was just not making it this way with the traditional planets, but kept also Uranus, Neptune and Pluto in there. It didn't work. And then I noticed, I looked back from, hey, oh yeah, the last aspect was, for instance, with Uranus. And then the real last aspect was actually hours before. So the void of course had happened already much earlier. So then the time when the moon makes here, for instance, the 3rd of February, the moon makes the last aspect with Mercury, a trine, and then enters later on into Scorpio. It is, I don't know, you remember the last hangout that we did?
I see what you mean. I'm not saying they're all perfect. Oh, let's put your picture back up. Hang on a second. Put that picture back up a minute that you just had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no,
when you look at your moon things, it goes 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 2. Quite often though, it's got days where there's only one planet.
Let me show you here, because it is even more crazy. If you look at the one from January, for instance. Oh wait, let me just go to the blog. That's easier, because I put them also onto the blog. Here, January, for instance. If you look at that one, we have crazy large, long times of void of course. You see here, you have, for instance, a short time. This is like 3 hours from 4 to 7 till 5 to 10, void of course time. But here you have a void of course from 10:30 till the next evening, 20 or 18 minutes past 11 in the evening. So it's a long period of void of course.
Can you
So
can you explain why there is this variance and this with this measurement of the void between the
oh yeah,
time?
let
Thank you.
me just open the solidifier, then I can maybe explain it easier, because it depends on the placement of the planets where they are. Oh,
Right.
yeah. I looked at your last, your own last talk, and you were talking about Lilith, the black moon. So I
Yeah.
thought, okay, I'll put it in there. Normally I don't. I used to use put all the asteroids and all the
Yeah.
other outer planets and everything, but it is
See what
just
you
so
do,
messy.
James?
What I did.
Yeah, you
Miriam's
talked
now
about it.
using that in her astrology.
Yeah, no, I just put it in
Yeah.
there to see where it is, and yeah, it's interesting, But let me tell you about Lilith, the black moon. I remember in the 80s, I was very fascinated about the black moon, and there was no software yet. I was helping or not helping. I was a friend of mine. She was doing the corrections for Astrolabe. So I knew how the whole software for astrology was being put together. Astrolab has been put together here in Amsterdam, and it's a astrological software that also NASA uses, and all the other astrological how you say programs. They're all based on Astrolab. Yeah. Well, there was not much information on the black moon, and I kept looking for placements. There were a few books on it, but each book was giving another a place. So it was never like a constant place for instance, Chiron. That was like, okay, that's where Chiron is, and that stayed everywhere. But the black moon, the one book was saying the black moon is here, there, and then I found another ephemera somewhere, and the black moon was somewhere else. So that's why I'm not really keen on using it. But I thought, okay, let me just check what Solidifier is doing, so I put it in there. But now what you have here, to look for a void of course, you can see this is at this moment. I can put the clock on, so this is now. The moon is 5 degrees in Pisces, so it won't make an aspect with Saturn because it is a 30 degree. I don't use those modern kind of non-existing aspects. They're not existing in the traditional sense. And modern esoteric astrology, they're used a lot, but I don't. So then the only planet the moon is going to make an aspect with is Mars. So the moment that the moon hits that 18 degrees, probably 19 degrees by that time. Let me just see hours. Look here, we go a few hours further. Now the moon is 14, 16, 18, and Mars is 1929, so it's still 1 hour further. Another 19. Okay, now we're getting close. And then we go a few minutes back, because here you can see 1933, 1938. So we need to get to the exact position. Okay, here we are. 1933 degrees. This is the last aspect the moon is going to make. That is tomorrow at 2054. So then we get to, oops, here. Not this one. Here, tomorrow, 2055. I've got it on 2055. That is when the moon makes the last aspect with Mars. You can see here, Mars sextile the moon. Right. And then you get the void of course, until the moon moves into the next sign. Aries.
Which is, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
see the little symbols in the corner.
sorry.
So on the calendar, I noted the zodiac symbols in the top left corner of each of the coloured bands. I'm just sort of getting it, sort of understanding it.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to see. Yeah. So on the left-hand corner, you see where the moon is in, and then the next day the moon is still in Pisces, of course, and then enters. You can see here at the bottom the moon enters Aries at 16:55.
Yeah.
And then for Greenwich Mean Time, you take 1 hour off because this one is Greenwich Mean Time +1.
So it's 3:55 or 5 to 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have quite a long time. Yeah, and then you have here Monday, Tuesday, fire. The moon is in the fire sign in Aries. Then you have Wednesday at midnight, say Greenwich Mean Time, 18 minutes past 12 till 13 past 3. Void, of course. So that's when we sleep, probably. And then the moon moves into Taurus. And the last aspect is a sextile with the sun. And then here you can see the phases of the moon. That is on the right-hand corner. That is then this is last quarter. That is at 1838, 16 degrees in Scorpio. There puts the degrees and 8 minutes. So 16 degrees, 8 minutes Scorpio. And then we have, yesterday we had the new moon. That was at 7 minutes past 8. 28 degrees Aquarius, 17 minutes. And then you can see the last aspect the moon made was with the sun conjunction. But it's not necessarily with a new moon or a full moon that is the last aspect the moon makes. Because it is possible that another planet is in a later degree than the sun at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is it works for me, this, and you know, it is just good to I've got this as my desktop background, so when I open my PC I can see where we are, you know, where the moon is, and it's nice to know that a water sign is our emotions, and the air sign, the yellow, that is our mental, our communication qualities. The fire sign is the inspiration, the spirit, it's the spirit, fiery signs. And earth is, of course, the physical construction.
Yeah.
So I just use the color, so it's easy to see.
I was just thinking back over the start of this month, how the colours and the elements fit perfectly with the way this month has gone for me. So that it's nice to have some confirmation astrologically. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you come from earth, very physical, and then you get this mental space, and then you start feeling what it's doing, and then you get the inspiration again of the spirit, and then you put that back into the physical again, so that keeps on going like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great way of getting a grasp, because you can find the void, of course, you know, but then you see just the tabels, just lists of things, and that is
Yeah.
difficult. If you're not an astrologer, it's difficult to understand. But in this way, you don't need to be an astrologer to understand what is happening. And
They'd make. Sorry, I was going to say they'd make very good sort of calendars, the type you see everywhere in industry. They've always got them sort of complementary things, and I was thinking that they look so much nicer than just plain white anyway.
yeah,
Visually, they're a pleasure to look at, and full of such useful information in it as well, which is even if you're sort of thinking, that's why I'm feeling that way today because the moon's in my sign or whatever sign. So
yeah,
it's a brilliant guide. Yeah, I shall definitely have a look at your website.
yeah.
Thank you for
And
sharing this. This is fantastic.
yeah, and you can just download the PDF for free and then just convert it. And if you would like to have it in another time zone, I'll gladly do that. You know,
Okay.
I've
Well, I can. I work on continental time, to be honest, because I don't change the time on my phone. I leave it on British summertime, or what I call best soul time.
all right. Yeah, yeah, what works best for you, that is great. Now
Yeah.
I made this calendar in this format in 2015 for the year 2016, and that was my first astrological website. And I did the full year in 18 different time zones with all the different summer times as well. So it was like a lot of work, and then to figure out that there was like only a handful of traditional astrologers that were quite happy with that, and like, okay, yeah, no, you know, I just got to first. Then I made my other website. I just first got to put a lot of information out that people understand what it is, you know, and that astrology is actually part of our lives, you know. It's being kept out of the school deliberately, you know. Imagine if we all would understand who we are, you know, they can't have that.
It's just the sole, excuse the pun, the sole point of everything. It's know thyself, know who we are, and this helps to do that. And
exactly.
so they will try.
Yeah, this is where it starts, you know thyself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
this is also very handy for gardening. When you
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, because when you work in the garden, you know, the earth signs, the green places, they're good for roots. When you work with root plants, or you know, if you need to work with roots, then the air, the yellow, is good for flowers. The water, the blue, is good for leaves, and the red is good for seeds and fruits.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's such a fantastic guide in so many ways. I mean, well, I know a lot of gardeners do this traditional way of gardening, and they go by moonlight for planting potatoes. I understand they grow better.
Yeah.
If they're planted in moon. So yeah, it's that's really superb. That's wonderful program to be able to see and use as a guide and as part of a daily life.
Yeah, exactly. It saves a lot of trouble, you know. And I've got my moon in Aries, you know, so I'm an impulsive person.
Yeah.
So I used to buy things, you know, and not use them. So when I started using this calendar, I would check first, are we under a void of course or not? It's a void of course. Okay, I'm not gonna buy. Most of the time when I have this impulse, it's a void of course. So I'm not going after this impulse. I just restrain myself. And then the moment the void of course is over, it's like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't buy that because I don't need it.
Yeah. That's superb. Thank you for making this available.
Yeah, no, pleasure, absolutely. I think it's yeah, it's a little service that I'm doing every month. So yeah, I love doing it.
Yeah, you've actually wanted to have a hangout with James, haven't you? Anyway, Miriam.
Ah,
Yeah, it was nice to meet you because I
yeah,
like the way
definitely.
you bring things. Yeah, how you see things. I love that. You know, it's
Thank you.
cool.
I didn't even know you subscribed to my channel, and let alone that you did all this wonderful work. So, wow.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Let me have a look at.
That's how Sun and Moon is a channel as well with the hangouts, because the people
Yeah.
came to me. I mean, I know you've now
Yeah.
connected and you do whatever you do, but you know that's how I met Miriam, isn't it? Because you saw something on
Yeah,
the channel, and then we
yeah,
started chatting,
yeah,
found me on
exactly.
Facebook, and yeah.
Well,
And I've met quite a lot of
it
people through
amazing.
your chart, to your channel. Sorry?
Yeah,
Excellent.
who? What? Mine or James? Mine or James?
No, yours, Karen, because you have so many people on your channel. So it's like, oh, right, you know, you're networking.
Oh,
You know,
cool.
you're networking a lot. It's great, and that's what it's all
It's
about. You know,
amazing.
we need to work network.
It's
Um,
amazing how we've got this little circle, and then somebody else has got another circle of people, and then it's like this flower life pattern. But it's wonderful. So we all sort of link indirectly or directly. So we
yeah,
are changing the balance of this reality,
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And together
I'm
you're
quite
strong. You know,
a
that's important.
Yeah.
I think that obviously Miriam is a very intelligent lady.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm
Definitely.
stupid, but I'm a bit more bouncy. I think people think I've probably got air between my ears. But I'm quite amazed sometimes at the friends that I have.
Yeah. Yeah. We all
I mean,
bring
Miriam's so clever, isn't
we
she?
all bring
Well,
different
I
things to
don't
the
know,
table.
Karen. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
Miriam's
doing my
lovely
best,
as
but I
well.
make a lot of mistakes, you know. Oh, of course, you know, my life has not been easy, and no, I can show you
You're
here.
quite
Let me show
amazing sometimes. 'Cause, you know, we
let me
spend
show
a
you
lot
a
of
little
time
bit.
talking just about life. So we spend a lot of time talking about life and things. And then you'll go, oh, I've got something I can share. And when we get there, I go, wow, this is quite, I'm not an astrologer. So, yeah.
I have
Well
to
done, Miriam.
Miriam, I have to pick you up on something you said. You said about mistakes. They're not mistakes, as we learn from mistakes. They're just guides to sort of prod us in the right direction. We learn quicker by making mistakes. If we got it perfect first time, it'd be very boring,
Yeah,
and we
that's
wouldn't really be
true.
learning anything.
Yeah, no, that's
So
absolutely true.
it's always in a positive way. So yeah, but yeah, life is actually, although it externally looks awful, it's actually wonderful.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
It is, and you know, there's also this beautiful metaphor of this the cocoon of a caterpillar. You know, it has to go through
Yeah.
this uh, uh,
Metamorphosis.
yeah, metamorphosis, and needs to have this struggle to come out of the cocoon in order to fly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can also
Miriam's flying. Miriam's
you can say
flying.
it's amazing. The same story is told in so many ways. I mean, another way of expressing it would be, say, like with Jesus breaking the bread. It's the seed breaking open. It's the chrysalis that the butterfly comes out from, where it transforms from caterpillar. It's the same message, just said in different ways. But the truth is, it's threaded through everything. The more
Yeah.
you just get to see it everywhere you look. Those songs where you've heard it so many times over the years, and then all of a sudden, bang, those lyrics will stand out. Something like the Bohemian Rhapsody, "Caught in a Landslide." Well, that's a mudflood reference as far as I can see. So, no escape from reality. No escape from reality. Is this the real life or just fantasy?
Right.
I think that's a huge drop. I mean, Freddie Mercury. Mercury is the messenger.
Oh, what you see
I
here?
wonder who he became. Listen, I wonder who he became next after Freddie Mercury.
Well, when I
I
had,
can't remember now. I've probably seen
believe it
it
or
on.
not, when I had a grade 4, sort of crew cut and a moustache, people would say, "You used to call me Freddie Mercury."
It's not you, is it, James?
No. Barcelona. No. No, I'm not Freddie. I've been called a few things in my time, but I don't think I've ever been called Freddie Mercury.
Change profession. So what else have you got for us, Miriam?
Yeah, I've got, this is my YouTube channel. And the last hangout we did, that was this one, the astrological, the tropical versus the sidereal zodiac explained, you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here it's like a little recap on what it is. Now, I did a short video on the stars for the 20th of January because I saw something quite interesting. You remember the song of Hair, Aquarius, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter is aligned with Mars.
Right.
Now, I've always looked for some auspicious dates when that would happen. And so I did that here. Yeah, I don't need to go through that now. You can just check this out if you want. The only trouble is that the audio is a little bit jumping off this one, but yeah, it's not too bad. And then here the first Aquarian new moon after the Great Conjunction. That was yesterday, so that is for this coming month. That's what I'm planning actually to do every month, a little video from the new moon, because the new moon is the new moon for that month. So I just have a little talk on that. Now I put here, that's my little background. Film acting class was my first. I've been on stage for many years before I had kids, and but then still I did a lot of stage work as well. But yeah, that's a whole different story. So let's not go there. Oh. Well, unless you want to know more about my background.
No, do the Doggerland bit that you were doing at the beginning then.
Yeah, I've got it here. This is quite interesting. Let me see, where is it? Here. The Doggerland. We spoke about that yesterday, day before yesterday. That England had.
Yeah, me and James did it the other day on the hangout.
Yeah.
Miriam, this is when you realise this is when you realise your subs are watching your videos. Yay!
Synchronized thoughts as well. It's amazing how many times I've done videos, and then I've another channel I've subscribed to, and they've put a video out maybe within half an hour, and it's like both saying the same thing. That's collective consciousness at work.
Yeah, synchronicity.
Oh wow! Absolutely. Just look at your picture.
Yeah.
On the Doggerland bit there, is it that the whole of that green bit was England?
Well, I don't think it was called England. I think it was just Doggerland. Yeah, apparently this was all connected. But yeah, who will say? You know, we don't have pictures of that. Let me see what I've got here.
The Doggerland went all the way around England.
That was one picture where it showed going all around. I don't think that the timeline is correct. I think it was much closer in time. I'll tell you why in a bit. Let me see what I've got here. Oh.
Yeah, that is just, I mean, you'd never believe that was us and you, would you?
Yeah, you wouldn't recognize it.
Could be Canada or something.
Well, you recognize the Thames, and here the Thames and the Rhine, they come together.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
But if London was there, then London was like not, well, I don't know, it just changes everything, doesn't it? Right, carry on.
Totally, completely changes everything. Okay, let me see what I've got. Yeah, they tell you that the land looked like that. Well, I don't I don't take that for a moment, because if you realize how many trees they have been chopping for all those ships and all those big houses, when you see, for instance, in Amsterdam, this massive beams, these old houses with these massive beams, oak trees and everything. It's not possible that.
Well, you think that's why? You think that's why Doggerland went in the end? I just think it happened to us when we were in a big flood, and that bit was obviously a bit more
Possible.
low-lying, and it's gone.
Possible, but what they say.
That's why England was like twice as big as it was, and now it's not. Anyway, carry on. No, I'm interested. Carry on.
Yeah, because what they say they have done.
Look, Brisbane.
Yeah, this is North Holland, West Friesland. Wait, let me see. Where can I go to the next picture? Oops.
Different Friesland, the one we were talking about yesterday, but all that one.
Yeah, here, this is also Amsterdam, used to be part of West Friesland. And Friesland is that, we know that from the Mercator map. You pronounce it the Mercator map, but it's actually the Mercator. It was a Dutch card map maker. And this is an old map. This is quite interesting because it has here as well, where it says that it was been done in 1700 something. It is here like the I7. So I don't know if that is what year that is. Something really strange. But the interesting thing of this map is here at the bottom. Here you can see the floodings, but they have like a construction that they open it and close it.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Go on, explain a bit more.
I've no idea. It's like the floodgates that I open, that I can open this gate. Look here in this corner. Here the doors are closed, there the doors are open. And when you look here, you can see the whole land. This is church, and the roofs of these houses, it's flooded. All these red dots, there are star forts. And this takes us to a time when you take this one again. Dockham, that was also a star fort. And that takes us to the time of Charlemagne.
Right.
We had a red, he was not a king, but they named him a king, King Redbud. And you know, when you know the story of Asterix and Obelix, but actually I think it was the people that were living here, because they were fighting, and they had also killed that one bishop. I think it was a bishop. I'm not so sure, all these hierarchies of the church and everything. But yeah, these were the last people that actually stopped it. And I love the story of Radboud. So this, and that was like in the 7th century or something, huh? It's a long time ago. But if you take the I from the one away, I mean the one is an I, then like 1700 something is actually 700 something. So it's not even that long ago. So they've been tinkering on our timeline, so we don't actually know when things really happened. The story with Radboud is that all the people were killed, and you know, they were slaughtered, and he had to convert to the church, to the religion that was happening. I don't know what it was, Catholic or something, I guess.
Is this the same King Redvold that's in the Sutton Hoo ship burial in East Anglia?
I don't think so. He went to the Vikings, but a lovely story of him, because
you've got that famous helmet.
Sorry, you're falling away.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you've got that famous the King Redfold, the Saxon burial, with that famous helmet with the sort of moustache on the front of it. It's always displayed anything to do with the Sutton Hoo. I was thinking, I wonder if it was the same King Redfold, but
well, maybe, who knows? I don't know. I should have looked more into that. But a very famous story from him is that he was about to be baptized, so he gets one foot into the water, the baptizing water, and then he waits, and he says, "Hang on." I used to love this story as a child, you know, that was the best part of history. And he says to the bishop, he says, so when I get baptized, I'll go to heaven. But all my relatives are in hell. So he stepped out of the water. He said, no, then I better go to hell where all my relatives are, because I don't know anybody in heaven. I love that story.
That's really good. It's also implying that he's walking into worlds by only putting one foot in.
Yeah.
So you've got one foot in the water, one on the land.
Exactly.
I'm also now thinking, when they're talking in the way we're told the Bible is as a literal historical story, as the controllers have basically set themselves up as God. So if you displease God in this biblical story, he creates a flood. Well, I'm now thinking, from what you said about Asterix and the last stronghold against this invading Christianity, that sort of now adds a historical credence to it all, to me.
I told you the Tsar of Russia was doing it.
Well,
in the late 1800s, and then
Marie Wheatley. This was this was in the 7th century. This was in the year 700 when Charlemagne.
Remember the way of the stage, and I don't think they just put Shakespeare's Hamlet on once. They do things in stages, and it seems pretty obvious they repeat the same scripts over and over. So they've probably played out the biblical flood with Tsar Nicholas, with this King Redfold, and many, many more, I would have thought.
I think so. Yeah, something like
bits of it are probably true. The timings are probably wrong.
Well, they're just using the same tactics over and over. So it's plausible they do play the same.
Yeah, but I think that the something serious drastically happened in the time of Charlemagne, and after him, when his sons took over, actually, because that's, you know, before that there were like 7 regions in Holland, and people were free, and after that they were enclosed, and they all got their mayors. That's when the mayors got into place.
Something else I noticed when I was looking it up is that the people from Holland were very refined. They had lots of money and nice buildings and things.
Yeah.
Remember I told you this before?
Yeah.
Not maybe now, a few hundred years ago. They were rich.
Oh, absolutely. Very rich. Very rich. And also in this time of Charlemagne, what they say, you know, they were fighting the barbarians and everything. No, they were totally refined. And also when you see jewelry from that time and the crafts, whatever has survived from that time, that is so beautiful, that is so fine, you know, we can't make that anymore. This whole culture has been wiped out. It's really sad.
A bit like those eggs from Russia. What are they called?
Fabergé eggs.
The Fabergé eggs.
Yeah, they're incredibly beautiful. You know, you can't make that. Okay, let me just have another thing. Oh yeah, this is also quite interesting. This is Old Amsterdam. I put some stuff together let me see if there is anything I wanted to show on here. Yeah, actually quite a lot. Oh yeah, this is also quite interesting. This is a later building of Amsterdam. You can see the compass of the Freemasons. You know, Amsterdam is also very much involved in that, in the layout of that. Here you can see it better. It's the Apollo and Churchill line.
The pattern grid.
Hmm?
Pattern grid.
Yeah, yeah. That is there. Yeah, this building is gone, you know, like so many beautiful buildings are gone.
Wow.
And this is the most weirdest. This is the concert building in the middle of nowhere. And it just makes no sense. That is so weird, you know. So there has been floods, absolutely, for sure, and this building was already there. So yeah, that's so obvious. Let me see, I wanted to show you here on this part. Oh yeah, here, the last, you remember when your channel was taken down, I spoke about Lofar. That's here in Drenthe. That is the east side of Holland. Lofar is
Right.
the low frequency aerial operation. It's a sister organization of HARP, which is the high frequency, and they have a massive radiance. And what they have in that part of Holland are these, the hunebeds. So it's also called the dog's back, which is connected to Sirius and the whole constellation where Sirius is part of, the dog's back. These are massive. These are called hunebeds. So that is where they've put Lofar to keep us all in an apathic state of slumber. So then when you get here, this part of Holland, this is West Friesland as well. This is a little place where there's like a knick in the corner. I took some snapshots, and that was in 2014 because I was there that summer. And if you look here, now it's all changed. These black dots that you see here, and there you can see already, because I noticed that this is from 2014, that Google Maps changed already, that you could see less and less, because like in 2008, 9, from then I was always like looking with Google Maps what was visible in the oceans, and now you can't
What are
see a
those black
thing.
bits then?
Sorry?
What's the black bit then?
I'll
What's the
show
little
you.
black
So
line?
here we're getting closer. I'll just show you. I took a few snapshots so that we get a little bit closer. And then here there is a massive one. This is a big man here, and this one they have covered up now. It's completely covered. You can't. They made a big. They made a whole big new beach over here. They covered it with sand. This place. This one.
What is it again?
They call it a pier. I'll show you here. This is what the pier is. I made a few videos when I was there. Oh, let me get the sound out. Now there is in Scotland, there is an old myth about these giants. They made this bridge, and they have the exact same. Yeah, you can see they're making they're covering it all up. So when I got back, I just immediately started checking with Google Maps and made snapshots. And here you can see, and you can see it has tool marks in it.
I think Google Maps are using the, should we say, the truth-seeking community when we find these things, that they're then
Covering
listening
it up.
in or through the algorithms. Yeah, we missed that one, so we're going to airbrush that out on the maps, because I think this is one of the reasons why they update so often.
Yeah, I think so too.
So if you try and zoom in on anything on the map, it's distorted or airbrushed out.
Yeah, you can't
So
see
they're
anything anymore. Yeah,
it's rewriting history right in front of us.
Yeah, look like this. Look at this. It makes no sense.
No.
You know, this was let me see date. Yeah, Google Maps 2014, and that is when
You
they
know what that
started
is, don't
changing
you? The
already.
one on the right, when they were filming, was sunny, and then they started again an hour later or 2 hours later. That's what they'll tell you.
Yeah,
and it wasn't so sunny, or
exactly.
the sun had moved, or
something
whatever.
really weird. Also, when you look at this one, you see the watermark of Google Maps here.
Yeah.
You know, they've blanked this out before you could really get into the ocean and check what was under there. And
this is what I said, Karen, wasn't it? I said where you've got these vast expanses of blue with no features, it's like they're masking things out, because there's other bits of ocean where it's quite detailed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. You can't see anything. I used to spend hours over Antarctica, for instance, you know, it was just fascinating.
Yeah.
But now you can't see a thing. And here you can see these stones are massive. And I couldn't get to that very big one because they were covering that one up already. And here you can see these are the exact same sort of lava stones, and they go very deep into the ground. That you see in Scotland at that beach where and here you can see these tool marks on it.
Yeah.
They've got a very sort of engineered look about them, as opposed to being a natural feature, for definite.
Yeah, yeah, but what they are, it always fascinated me a lot as a child, and here you can also see that they're covering it because it's been on the whole side of the beach, but they're covering it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're covering the whole thing up. They've made a whole new beach there. Yeah. Shaping
the world the way they want, quite literally and quite figuratively.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, it's and these are those little stones. You can see they're big, and it is a sort of, it's heavy, but I think it is some sort of heavy lava stone. Oops, that's weird. Dog of one of my sons. I had him out there.
Are they some sort of foundations for a pier?
Sorry, there are?
Would those stones you just showed, would they be sort of the footings for a pier or for a structure at one point? I'm only just speculating from seeing that picture.
Yeah, here you can see. Let me just get it a bit bigger. This is quite high up, and each of these black dots is one of those piers. They call it a pier. Yeah.
Yeah. Breakwater here.
This is the one they've covered up, and you can see.
Oh, because what it is that they've been there for a long time, and they don't want you to know that.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially not the big one. Here you can see it a little bit. You know, it goes really far. It goes really far out into the sea. Here it's like low tide. You can't normally
Yeah, that's
really get
clearly,
on them.
So they could put boats down those.
well, no, it clearly that looks like it resembles a cobbled street, and if you've got soft ground, that's the ideal
Oh, you mean that
surface for.
because originally we went into Doggerland?
Yeah, that's the ideal
Exactly.
road
Yeah.
surface to distribute the weight of vehicles.
Oh, I see. So all those are roads going
Yeah, like
across.
It
cobbled
looks like it.
streets,
Yeah, it
basically.
looks like it. So if you take
Because it's not on a solid ground, that's why it's
not that
cobbles.
one.
Because if you try to do concrete, it would just break apart because what's underneath it is still comparatively soft because you've got the water there. So, yeah, that there's no mistaking that it's definitely a cobbled road that went somewhere at one time.
Yeah. Oh, this is another name of Niflheim. They call that one. You can see here, because
Now Nibelheim is in German mythology is the land of the gods.
right. Oh, that's interesting, because England we call Engeland, which is like angel land.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But actually, just near the Arrow, that I mean, that's East Anglia. You've got you had East and Mid Anglia, which is the root word is angel.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, angel land. Interesting. And that the place that I showed that's here. That this is where, but they have all these piers all the way on the coast.
yeah. Mm.
So yeah, I thought it was quite interesting, fascinating. But
Yeah.
this one also made a snapshot then in 2014. I can't find this one, so I'm so glad. I thought I lost it, but I found it back. Because you can't find this stuff anymore on the internet.
Miriam, I don't know if you're aware, East Anglia and Lincolnshire on the east coast, the soil is very black. It's the most superior soil in England for growing. And I remember the story being told that, oh, they brought the Dutch over here because they're experts at reclaiming land. And then I thought about that photo you showed or that image you showed with the two gateways, and I thought I can see where that story's come from.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because
this is fascinating.
It really looks like a road, completely. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. I can't see it being how it could be anything else. It definitely looks a machined or man-made structure.
Yeah, and if you see,
It's
you look
not
at
the
if you look
Do you
at
know
the
what?
tool marks in
That's
here.
what happened in Facebook, Miriam. Someone produced this building where they bricked over the front of it, but for years they've been meaning to take the brick off, and when they did, there's all these pillars behind it. So they haven't maybe got rid of all the Tartaria buildings. They've actually just covered them up.
So what you're saying is the building is wearing a mask?
Yeah, the building's wearing a mask.
It's known as.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Because I was thinking, what are all those black things? Are you going piers? And I suddenly realised they were roads.
Yeah.
Oh my
they look like
God!
roads.
What are we Miriam? What are we living in?
Yeah. A whole different world than they've told us, huh? Completely different. Let me see what I've got here on the Friesland side. Oh yeah, this is the attack on Bonifacius in Dokkum. That is that little star fort in Dokkum. Yeah, this is the whole thing of Charlemagne and Friesland. This is the flag of Friesland.
So how come there's a Friesland by Greenland then?
Probably to confuse.
I don't know. That's when I saw that. Let me see, where is it? Which one is it? This one, the Friesland.
Bottom left-hand corner. But yeah, oh sorry. It must be significant, the fact that it's one of the four featured in the corner.
Yeah, it must be connected somehow. And also Friesland, the province in Holland.
Yeah.
Here. This is then an old map from, I think what they say it used to be, but yeah, also the time of Charlemagne, the 8th century. They still, up till today, they have a different language. They have a complete different language. They speak something I can't understand. Yeah. So that's quite interesting.
Well, it's interesting on a related topic. When I went to Sweden, I went sort of roughly halfway on the north-south axis, and the road signs in this village were bilingual, and there's an older version of Swedish that they can communicate perfectly with people in Iceland. They understand each other. So that wouldn't surprise me with the two Frislands being connected as well. It's
Exactly.
said that Europe had like a common language. You've got the group called Heilung, which are Danish, which means healing, who do traditional poems and things set to music. And you've got very old, ancient European languages. And because people think of like North American tribes and all the South American tribes, but everybody seems to forget that Europe had tribes at one time. We were no different.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here you can see them. The Saxon and the Franken, the Friesan. This was all Friesland. So you can see Amsterdam is part of Friesland. Yeah. But it's a whole different story. Yeah. Wow, nice, eh? It's nice because with all of us trying to figure out our history, we find all little bits and pieces, and together we can get the puzzle together.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask you something, Miriam. You hear the word Holland. It's also referred to as the Netherlands, and then we would say Dutch people. What do you know anything about the reason why we've got these three different terms for the same people?
Well, Holland is, I think, the original. It's like sounds like whole and holy, whatever. But Nederland, that was also in that time when Charlemagne had taken over, because it was the last stronghold where people were resisting. They had to Vernederlanden. And if you translate the Vernederlanden, or when you is you become. And if you check up the translation of Verneder, wow, it's a whole list of putting down, bringing down, chop to pieces. It's like really like, it's horrible. I don't like to say Netherlands. I always say Holland.
No, to me, from what you've just said, because I wasn't sort of aware of this, but I'm thinking Holy Land and Netherlands, the fall of mankind is being expressed in that.
Yeah, I think in Netherlands, the fall of mankind has been expressed, because if you look up the translation of Vernederlanden of Verneder, it's really it's a massive list of negative words.
It sounds very much like saying for never, so it's never going to happen in English.
Yeah, something like that as well. Yeah. But
wow, this is
like,
mind-blowingly fascinating.
It is strange though, isn't it? Because nobody thinks that much of Holland, do they? But now look what Miriam's doing. She's putting Holland on the map.
Well, why not?
Yeah. This is the original Asterix and Obelix here. Yeah. Yeah, because this whole story.
The same here. We've lost land, so you're not going to find them. But
well, yeah, because
that means that couldn't have been in a mud flood then, or maybe there's a bit more road under the water. But
possibly, but if our coastline is retreated, then you'd have to go so far into the water to even find it. Whereas that seems to be a bit that they've missed, or they've now thought, oh, we better cover this up.
disgusting.
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it?
They're covering it up. They're literally
And
covering
that's
it
the
up.
thing happening lately,
There's-
covering everything up all the
Well, there's a
time.
saying, isn't there? A thief will always cover his tracks.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think it's the origin of that saying is shown in stone.
yeah. No, it
That's
is.
really great because making our video has made Miriam show us all this.
Yeah, it's amazing what see you plant a seed and it germinates and it this
She's
is
the flower.
tree of knowledge.
She's the
We-
flower.
Yeah,
yeah,
together we all
it's
have
all
little
growing.
pieces. And
Yeah.
you know, the interesting thing is as well here, let me see, this is where I showed you the part, but here you have the military is sitting on the side. So I think they have also an, let me see if I can find that. No,
Isn't
it's
it
not
amazing
there.
how the bases are always placed where there was something of great interest?
Yeah, that's what Marie
Yeah,
Reedy
yeah,
told
yeah.
me.
So
Yeah,
When we found all
absolutely.
these long barrows, all these military bases there, they're so that we can't see them.
same as all the US golf courses are on Air Force grounds, I believe.
Right.
Perfect cover to cover up
They cover it
grass,
up.
so
Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah, and these.
And I
these,
always thought that. I
yeah,
was going to say, I always thought that golf clubs have that sort of air of exclusivity, like it's a sort of like a secret society sort of feeling about them, and it sort of all sort of makes sense now.
yeah, yeah. No, it is. It's massive, and and what you said as well. You know, I also have that feeling that they've been using us, looking at all these places already for years and years. You know, trying to figure out as soon as Google Maps came on the internet that we all started looking for special places, and now you can't find anything anymore.
No, it's amazing how. I mean, well, it's the perfect. Everything being digital and electronic, it's so easy to with a push of a button. You can just change everything.
Yeah.
It's not like physical books and physical objects. It's so easy to then just alter everything overnight, and they hope people won't even notice.
Well, to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed in Google Maps. Maybe it's because I know it's not real to start with, but that glitch that you found, like, that's pretty, like, couldn't they have even covered that up?
I think they have to show us the truth.
Whatever was shiny and golden and beautiful isn't anymore.
I think basically that is like a tear in the veil. That's what they're saying. The analogy of that. It seems to be this, shall we say, an unwritten law that they have to tell us the truth, but then they try and hide it again.
Well, they sort of tell us the truth, and then they lie at the same time.
It's in their nature.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased, though, Miriam, that you noticed that you're. I just don't know why they have to do this to us. Why it has to be like this? You know, the president's hands.
Oh yeah, that one. That is really weird.
And also,
huh?
who do you think? Is it the king? Is it the King of Holland? Who do you think the King of Holland looks like?
Yeah, the King of Holland. He looks like Trump, I think. They have.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they have the similar kind of genetics. Looks like it.
Head.
Yeah, yeah, same sort of mouth and.
They're playing multiple parts. I mean, of them.
I think what they do is they get you so concentrated in your own country. I know that in England we always look that America is the leader, and then they do show you the world. But in most countries, they're only showing themselves. So you're not into. I mean, I know Miriam is much more broader minded anyway, but they don't want you interested in anybody else. They only want you interested in your country. So that you don't see what's going on in other countries, or we're not connecting. And like, look at Miriam's just shown us.
I disagree, because I mean, you go, well, when you could, if you go into the pubs and the bars, you've got the quiz machine, and invariably it'll ask you a question about American football or baseball, and it's like, what's that got to do with England? So it's, of course, it's all distraction and confusion. But I know what you're saying. It's generally sort of insular and divide and conquer tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also when you look at history, you know.
You've got anything else to show us, Miriam? You've kept those dark and deep, haven't you?
Sorry?
I really enjoyed that. I said all that you kept dark and deep. I wasn't expecting to find roads coming across. Thank you so much. Because
Yeah, no,
basically,
I'm
you
glad
will
that
see exactly.
I filmed it because they're gone.
But listen, it's really strange because, you know, if you were looking for confirmation and we did that video yesterday, you couldn't have been in a better place. We're talking the next day to the lady that can give us confirmation that there was something else there, really, because there's roads going into the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. And also,
And they
when you
weren't
look
high,
at those
were
photos,
they? They were low. They weren't on bridges or anything.
Can
No.
you see what else is happening here in the unseen? The beautiful magic of all this is like how all this comes together, how we all connect to each other. This is all going on in the unseen. So although things might seem dreadful at the moment, just think of what's going on in the unseen and how wonderful everything really is.
Yeah.
This is just a perfect example. It's like how we've all got bits of the puzzle. We're all bringing stuff to the table and make a video on something, and then somebody else thinks, oh, I can add a bit to that. This is beautiful to see unfolding.
Exactly.
That means that James has been enjoying this hangout, Miriam.
I really have. I'm fascinated.
Lovely.
Thank
Nice.
you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no, every little piece of the puzzle is an important part of the puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll be talking to Miriam now, won't you?
Yeah, well, I should be subscribing to a channel. I didn't know you had a channel. So yeah, I should definitely subscribe and say, check out this channel on one of the videos I do in the future anyway.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right.
Welcome.
Shall we leave it at this? And then when I have something interesting
we've been
again,
we've been going for 11 minutes. Yeah, 1 hour, 11 minutes. And it was on 31 then when I was just saying that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we'll say goodbye when I press the button. So I'm just going to stop the hangout, but we'll say goodbye to each other afterwards. But Miriam for the hangout, and there you go. The moon, what is it? It's called
Cycles of
the
Void of Course. Yeah.
Let me just stop the
so
screen sharing.
Miriam.
Yes.
James. Chat room.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Miriam.
Thank you so much, Miriam. That's been wonderful.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yay.
Yeah,
thumbs up from me.